Every conversation can and will elevate you. It's where real talk meets real growth. Welcome back to Level Up. Today, I want us to imagine being responsible for 14 outlets, different teams, different concepts, different guest expectations. Yet, the guest must feel the same standards of excellence everywhere, every time. Today's guest, someone have lived that pressure at the highest level. We're talking luxury hospitality, multi-venue strategy culture, performance, and the real cost of excellence. Today, I'm joined by Pedro. I'm really happy to have you. We've been working together, which was a really special time, I think, in both of our careers in Marriott Qatar. And you've been really leading and shaping experiences across regions, high pressure environments. And I'm really excited to dive in. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Hakim. I'm so excited to be here. I've spent my career now that I look back, in environments that have high expectations, and mistakes can be expensive and
Yeah.
financially expensive and emotionally expensive also.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to hear about, and to be here and talk about that.
I'm really excited as well. Looking at your also wide range of regions, cultures you worked with, it's really inspiring. You really shaped experiences across regions, high pressure performance from Doha, Dubai, luxury destination across Americas. At one point, you was responsible for operation tied to 14 outlets. Like, I cannot even imagine how this challenging can be in hotel industries, of course. And you also been linked to major openings and concepts, identities, where each venue needs its own soul, its own target audience, which absolutely very challenging, I can say. I wanna start before all that, before the titles, before the experiences, before being, in that luxury field. What was that moment actually you realized, like, okay, this is my path, going there?
So way back from the beginning. So I'm from Costa Rica, and I, learned through family gatherings, through hospitality, right? That exchange of laughs, stories, through food and beverage. Back in Guatemala, when I was in Guatemala, I suddenly realized I was studying engineering.
Wow.
I talk about a 180. I realized that there's a lot. I was a little bit concerned of just being an engineer or specializing in one thing. F&B through kitchen, because I'm a cook by heart. I recognized there was food photography, there was nutrition, there was beverage, wine, etc. So I was, wow, this is pretty excellent. And if I can one day be an expert on it, that's going to be great. I love meeting
Wow.
people. I love doing gatherings. So that's when the spark came in, and I recognized also that I was pretty good, and I could make a living, make some money out of it. And it didn't feel, as a job 9 to 5 where, you're not enjoying yourself. I was getting more out of it emotionally that, I thought I was going to get financially, and I was getting more financially rewards from it that I
Nice.
thought. So I was, wow, this is a great deal.
Wow. I never knew actually you were studying engineering. That must be like a big decision to make, because especially it's not even similar, it's not close to it. It's way different. Like,
It
what
is
happened?
so different.
Yeah.
But if you boil down almost every discipline, it comes down to leadership and leading teams. And,
Nice.
you know, to lead a engineering department, you need to be a leader and know how to communicate. That's what's so interesting about different styles of
Like leadership
college.
and
Yes. And very seldom you see a one-man show, right?
definitely. Did you had any struggles in the early beginnings, like I don't know, confidence, language, discipline, motivation?
Yes. So
Yeah.
I often hear that I carry myself with security and this knowledge kind of look. But early on, I am Latin, I'm from Costa Rica. in our culture, going to the US is wow, it's huge. And going
Yeah.
to Europe, well, they conquered us many years ago. So you are um by society predisposed to think that you need to be harder and prove yourself. So a lot of time I was overworking and getting worried, and that was not letting me get on my own style, if you
Mm.
may, when you get in touch with your inner self, and then a lot of your true skills come up.
Yep. Yep.
And so I was playing the part to make sure I fit it in. And so for me, it was really good to go to the US and be a part of, different restaurants, and not just be a part of, be good at it. And then
Yeah.
I started believing in myself. And I think I am very good when I recognize that on a team, when, especially in openings, when we have task force from different hotels, different type of hotel, different
Yep.
type of culture. I always go back to that Pedro that was not released. And that's where I support that, emergence of your true self inside.
Nice. That's really, really good. You always come back to, this what inside you that really drive and motivate. That's something, it's not easy. I even sometimes struggle to it, with life and work and all these distractions. So it's really good advice. And did you learn anything the hard way that was something very difficult and now it become a strength, like in your daily life?
Yes. So it's true that at the top it's lonely, and you're either your best friend or your worst enemy, right?
Mm, yeah.
And what I struggled at the beginning, and I think most of us have, and we have it still on our day-to-day life, is how do you keep going forward? How do you amend a culture of work? Not just work as your job, but how do you keep going to the gym,
Mm,
take care of the family, your chores, etc. What's your 5-year plan, 10-year plan? And I learned this the hard way. Why? Because I was in a property where I knew what to do when I came in. And when I fixed it, I was like, oh, what do I do now?
what happened? It worked.
Like, yay, no, what's going to happen? So then I I learned the hard way, because then, deadlines were coming in for special events and I have no clue. So then I recognized, okay, so I need to push myself and detach myself and become my own boss, where my boss tells me what to do. And the way I do that is I usually have 2 or 3 whiteboards, and I
Nice.
have bullet lists of everything I want to do. I
Nice.
learned this from a sales and marketing lady. I still talk to her, and she's my mentor on that. We
Amazing.
will do a 6, 8, 12 month um, review and forecast of events, special play ups, etc., etc. And that gave me a roadmap, and then I will do more lists of, what we need to do before, 6 weeks
Yeah.
before that,
Yeah.
4 weeks after that. And that led to me being able to manage 11 openings. And most
Wow.
people, wow, that's a lot. It's like, yes, but it's so
Yeah.
much fun if you know what you're doing, because it's a lot of stress, a lot of giving direction, and then you have to detach and let it go. And it's not your hotel, but it's great to have that. So that's how I learn, and I try to discipline myself into communicating and giving my teams direct goals, conceptualize, give strategies, only because of that, so I can push
Yeah.
myself.
That's very inspiring. And like hearing the 11 openings. I'm experienced with openings, but 11, like, wow. Of course, that comes with so much pressure, stress, challenges. So tell me about maybe a night when everything went wrong. Service, timing, peak.
I love those times.
Are you sure?
So, I think because I learned through crisis,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so that gives you some. The way I see it is it's opportunities, and I don't want to sound too hotel brand like, but there are opportunities, and the business is telling you what to do, right? So that's easy for me, and that's what's beautiful about hospitality. Is you get to do it again the next day, and you can fix
Yeah.
everything, and it's a working progress. And especially hotels are entities. I am amazed how some properties go, a certain path, and it influences people. And so you have to be reactive and very
Yeah.
have an eye for it. Yes. So at night, I have a debrief in my head, and
This alone, without the team.
so nobody watches me. And part of my morning routine is visualize the day, right?
That's
So
so good.
I will go and have a time. Okay, Pedro, so this is what happened. Worst case scenario is this. Do we have an answers? And then if I need, I will go back to one whiteboard that I have that it has all my brain stuff unfiltered. And then on the next morning before work, I do my morning briefing myself.
Nice. Nice. Really cool.
I visualize what to do. I think that's very important. I learned that through cooking. Sometimes, I will, okay, so how do I do a recipe? And I imagine myself, I saute this and then I sec, la la la. And it gives me confidence. And so before, like here, I imagine myself, okay, so how do I want to communicate? Let's understand this. What's the impact? What's going on? No? And so when I come to the office, I'm ready to see my whiteboards, my lists, briefing with staff, that sort of thing that prepares me.
This is incredible. I love like those powerful words because I'm also doing similar things, but let's be honest, I also get busy and sometimes I miss the day or something, but I always try to stay consistent. But I love you said you have a whiteboard, so you have, your plans, your ideas somewhere where you go for them every time. And also you do visualize every day in the morning. Absolutely something I need to come back to it. And I love the deep briefing with yourself. I'm gonna start doing this. Definitely.
Well, sometimes when you repeat things, okay, it's not that bad, the positive
Yeah,
side.
yeah.
So
Yeah, definitely.
then creativity, it's where I find, especially for my line of work, I have to be
Yeah,
creative and I
yeah.
didn't know to be creative. I've recognized that there's no bad thought, and what I mean by that is like chefs go to our restaurants and they go, okay, this was horrible, but there's one technique, there's one interesting stuff. Okay, I'll have it here. So that's what I do there on my whiteboards. I'll do a walk
Really
around and
nice.
make a note. And I go like, you know what? I would like to do and pop up here. And yeah, I just let that thing go there. And unconsciously, you are still working on it. So whenever you have this downtime, that's where my brain starts. Oh, you know what? That idea you had, like the food truck and
I I know that creativity part from working with you. I remember back in Doha Marquis times. Wow. I remember the events we had for corporate or for leisure, and the F&B was always something I was so proud of. You're right with creativity, and this is something you need to keep consistent doing this all the time to be in that level.
yes. So, one of those is what I just told you, like just have a brainstorm area where you
Brainstorm.
can write stuff down and then tie it up somehow. You will tie it up.
Hmm.
Um, Many times I will go, okay, so what is the guest expecting? And then I'll go, okay, I'm
Hmm.
not gonna do that, right? The same saying as if people wanted their way, they will have more horses instead of having the automobile, right? That came completely from left field for some people. So true ingenious lies in there. And creativity for me, some people have maybe other rhythms is to visualize it. I always tell people I make dreams come true in the sense that sales will sell everything, and I'll make it happen. I'll make it real. Uh,
Good.
same, same in restaurants. I will
Yes.
have a hotel opening with 6, 8 different restaurants. The last one was 17 restaurants and bars.
Wow.
And I will get a dossier with, okay, this is supposed to be Italian restaurant, bistro feel with the La Nonna. And then that's where I start visualizing. So I'm a big fan of visualizing because if I can feel it, if I can live it, I can make it happen. I can go around and
Mm,
then collaboration makes it
wow. I'm
always.
Before we move to the next segment, I need to ask about this. You mentioned 7 outlets in one, property. Sorry, 17. I can imagine how crazy operation is that. So, in a level like your level in hospitality, managing this amount of venue, what a day look like for you? Like a normal day?
So there's no normal days.
It's not.
I think complicated hotels have complicated days.
Yeah.
But I think the key to that is recognizing you cannot be everywhere.
Mm,
So I am a huge fan of standards, and I'm a huge fan of say divide and conquer. But it's more of organize, so you don't have to be there. And I learned
wow.
that actually in Doha. So Doha for me
Nice.
was a eye opener in the sense that we had so much talent and people, our chefs were extremely good. I recognized that we needed to go the extra level. Okay, so I cannot be there 8 to 10 hours. Then what happens to the other?
Yeah.
So I started doing like packets of information. So the key points like HACCP, like critical
Mm,
analysis control points. So I will have control points on critical times and critical items that I knew I had to be there to have an
yeah.
impact. So that comes from really back on organizing and making the, we'll say, business plan of what's going to happen. Okay, so I'm going to have a Italian restaurant and an Italian chef. He needs to do this. He needs to do that. So it comes from the pre-opening that you need to have that outlook on the business. And then, of course, then it's an easy day, right? So you will come in and do your briefing, and then you know exactly you have to go to breakfast. At what time is the peak time? At what time before then? I needed to go see this. Then, as you start to get to know the business, the business tells you
Mm,
what he likes, and then you know your team, and then you know, okay, so he's not good in this. I'll reinforce here, right?
mm,
So picking my battles, it's
definitely. That's very
and letting
interesting.
go of mistakes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
mistake culture is very important on big teams, I think, and teams that eventually are high performance teams. Is that the mistake is, like I said, it's an opportunity to
Absolutely. Part of the
grow.
package.
Yeah. And for example, we had a guest that had an issue with wine and he doesn't like the wine. And, he says, by the way, I like Hamus because it's then that's an opportunity. And
Yes.
I will make sure. So then communication, it has to be a system how we're going to, treat that as a gold, right? So that I call those nuggets. And those gold nuggets, you need to use them and need to,
Mm,
you need to know how. And then, by the way, Sharon, just on the next interaction, Beverly, because I've seen not when the issue started, it's after, then he, as a human, recognizes, someone is putting attention to my stay. It's great that, oh, wow, I just mentioned it once and they were putting attention to me. I'm special. I am, this conception of what this person had when they came in as an expected. You start delivering on that, and that's gold.
yeah, fully agree. It's all about the communication. You listen to all these hints where you can find opportunity and perform and make sure you deliver it. Wow. You mentioned pressure and you mentioned standards because this my next question is about that. Pressure creates standards in Dubai and Doha. I'm gonna obviously go there. You landed there early in your career in Dubai, later in Doha. One thing I respect about those markets myself, they really, as you also mentioned, they really force you to level up with all the expectation from the guest and the experience. Take us back to that environment. What changes when the guest expectation is absolute? excellence? Like, what is something that you really always take back with you from that market?
So, pressure and expectation, right? So
Mm,
luxury, it's in one thing that you do easy, and it's just, I think luxury now, it's where it gets harder to do if we don't feel it. Let me frame that. So people's expectations comes from their point of view.
yeah.
You need to have a clear understanding what you're doing and where are you. For example, what's the type of guest that is coming here? What's going to be their expectation? And then the pressure starts slowing down, because pressure comes from the unknown, and stress
Yeah.
fuels that, and the unknown for us humans, it's scary. And then when you start experience it, then all of those start dissipating, and then you can undoing your work, right? But what's happening is the stress levels come down, and you're able to think, and not make it a big deal, for example. And then you start seeing things that you didn't see before.
Mm.
So for me, the pressure was, oh my God, opening a hotel in Dubai. That's, career changing and it's life
That's
changing.
already pressure.
It's pressure. But your level of confidence,
Yeah.
that's where
It's
I think
important.
the key is um, you can be, you can learn a lot of things, but if you don't experience them, then you are not really prepared.
Mm. Yeah.
Helped me a lot that Doha was a lot of pressure, right?
Yeah,
Most
absolutely.
people, when they have expectations, they don't know what to
Very
expect,
high.
right?
Yeah.
So my little trick was that. Okay, so what do I expect to come here and get? Okay, I'll do something that you are not really thinking of and surprise you, and then surprise, it's rewarded through, I didn't think of that. That's very clever. Thank you very much for thinking of that.
Mm.
No, so that's where I started releasing pressure. And for me, the exercise of visualizing and having these thoughts of how, putting yourself in a guest shoes. And I think
Say, yeah,
that's,
yeah, yeah,
they teach us, but we never really connect to it until we are in a certain position of leadership.
yeah.
And I find interesting how the journey of the guest is from clicking on the reservation to getting the last email asking for feedback.
Yeah.
I had, he told me, it's time management. If you're able to understand that you're managing people's time, then you can unlock everything. Because then it's a symphony of things that you can do around.
Yeah, this is so true about the time management and also realizing the pressure and easing a pressure. Of course, I can only imagine listening this from someone who manage all these outlets at the same time. Absolutely. Take Doha as an example because Doha was 14 outlets, right? If I remember correctly, or
Yes.
12, 14. When you manage this amount of venues, outlets, what comes first? Is it people? Is it standards? Is it process, product? What is it actually?
So the outlet comes first. And what I mean, the outlet is, you need to build it as an entity. So everybody follows and respects the outlet. For
Mm,
example, if you have the standards, everybody's going to think they do a better job than they're supposed to. Or
mm.
they will do mistake just because they didn't know what not
You don't know.
to do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So for me, it's one thing I see across restaurants, not even hotels, but we go to this restaurant that has a French name with a Middle Eastern style food and a different wine section with French wines. Everything has to be an ecosystem,
yeah,
a symbiotic. So everybody knows inherently what to do. It's easy for them to say, okay, yes, it's pasta, it's an Italian restaurant, um, this and that. And then you can start forming the concept. And when you choose people, then you can see them, it's like a movie, you fit
yeah.
the part. you fit the profile.
That's definitely true. What standards you will never compromise? Like something that has to be always on the top of
Quality,
everything.
never compromising
Quality,
quality.
especially in
We
your
humans,
line.
we are humans are not stupid. Right?
Yeah,
We know
definitely.
when there's sacrificing quality, and we will never go back.
That's interesting. Do you keep certain quality based on each outlet, or what is the system behind it actually?
So I go through what's called a perceived value.
Well, that's good.
This is really, really nice. So, you know what? A lot of people and a lot of companies do that really well, like Apple, right? Has this perceived value of a lot.
Yeah,
Thing,
definitely.
if you can tell me, technically, this other product has better technology, has this, he has that. Apple by itself has an
Yes.
acquired value. So, and that comes from, for example, if you're doing a drink and, what's the perceived value? And that's where you need to work on concept and making sure you have the appropriate verbiage to, it's different to say, I have a margarita and I have a margarita made with an artisanal tequila, and you try in the story, and then all of a sudden, it has value that you cannot
Mm,
put, and then you're happy to buy that, right? Because the overwhelming sense of value doesn't come from money. Sometimes comes more from the
from the
emotional part,
experience. Yeah. Yeah.
from the experience. Sometimes it's transactional, so, okay, I expect not the best quality, but I expect to be fast. So that's where fast restaurants have their perceived value, is that it's
Mm,
fast. And it's always almost the same. It's not the
yes.
best,
Yes. You're right.
I'm just hungry. I'll get it. It's 10
Yeah.
minutes.
That's really
You
interesting.
never hear anybody saying, I went to this burger chain and the sauce there was amazing this time. The chef was really good.
Yeah.
Well, you have a chef, you have a cook that
Absolutely.
did that recipe and mixed it. And, maybe he had a good day and then he did it really well to the exact formula. Sometimes he has a bad day and he doesn't do a great job. But you will hear somebody's like, "Oh, I was there like 5 more minutes, and it was so slow. I don't like it." And that's where the perceived value of that place is, and you have to identify that and make it a strength so you can build on it.
Yes, that's insightful. When it comes to the multi venue across different regions, different cultures, and each venue must, feel distinct, especially if you're going to the same one property but it has more than one venue. Behind the scene, that must run like crazy. I cannot even imagine. So my question is, what's your framework for building multi-venue strategy?
So let's frame it, right? Identity, we're talking about concepts, standards, create the system so we can feed from it, and then it just works. And
So you
then
have the
rhythm.
identity as the first kind of root of
Yes,
of that theme of the outlet itself.
exactly. So, and you can tie that to a resort, right? So it comes from, let's see it my F&B way, right? So it comes from the recipes that make the dishes, that make the
Mm,
menu, that make the wine, cocktail, food experience, makes the theme makes the
yeah.
restaurant then makes the resort, and then the resort makes the experience, right? So if you go to a wellness resort and then you get a fast food, it's just not going to work, right?
Mm,
You'll be amazed how many hotels don't have that identity, and they can have, these interesting architects behind them. It has the flow of the
there
wave.
are a lot. Yes.
Exactly. And they're like, I don't see the wave, man. What's
Yeah,
going
you're
on,
right.
right?
You're absolutely right.
And so that you can tie up to everything. And it's very important to identify that, because then it's all an ecosystem. And it's the same with companies. If you can identify yourself with a company and its products, then you have brand recognition.
Yeah,
And that
yeah.
goes a long way.
You're absolutely right. I remember from go ahead, go
And rhythm, I will say, is the last.
the rhythm.
So that system has to have a rhythm. Let's say is the style of service. Let's say, there's these bars now that are called Sala de Despecho. Do you know about them?
I heard the name or I saw something on Instagram before some of them. Yeah.
So you will go home. I will never go to this place, right? So my wife takes me and I'm having a great time. And people are singing. And what caught me is I will if you tell me let's go to this bar that has people sing and they sing despechado means like heartbreak. Oh, that has to be so boring. But it has a rhythm, it has its vibe. And
Mm,
I think that's
identity. Yeah,
what's
definitely.
separating everything now.
Definitely. I can absolutely relate to this. Thinking back of Merit Marquis Doha and the 14 outlets. I remember every time I stepped into churrascaria or cucina or steakhouse, it was definitely different identity.
It's happening. Remember, please, they have to be okay. So the rhythm might be toned down and elegant, like a Ritz Carlton, or,
Yeah,
they before, or they can be vibrant. They have colors. They're
yeah.
maybe in nature, as it's a resort, or maybe it's a city hotel, and it has this busy feel that
Mm,
rhythm. It's something interesting.
really interesting. Moving to a little bit different segment. It's about culture, performance. I think into so many cultures, so many regions. Because when we talk about culture, luxury isn't only a product; it's also people play a big role into the guest expectation and the guest experience, which is the core of every hotel business. When you hiring a team, especially in your lineup, which is challenging in F&B, dealing with food, dealing with people, dealing with product, dealing with processes. So, what do you look for when you're hiring high performance F&B team?
So, as I've been getting older,
You're not. You're
I
not.
I understood a lot of premises, right? So if you didn't experience it, you cannot be a specialist. Maybe saying you can't is a little bit too harsh, but for you to be able to identify skills in a team and on a person, you need that. You need
Mm,
to have that security in you, right? So because you can teach skills, um, you can put a recipe and then you can train robots.
mm,
But where I look for high performance is on people that have um that spark that I don't know.
yeah, is like the talent or the spirit. I get what you're saying. I believe in that as well.
It's people that very usually they take feedback the right way. They don't get defensive. They are able to be mature enough professionally to turn it around and say, okay, you know what? He's
Mm,
right. Oh, I like that idea. They stay respectful under pressure. That's one main thing I look for because then character shows up, right? And it's like the quarterback doing the let's throw on the last minute and he stays focused and it's just there, right? He's playing his part and they understand that. So motivation comes from having that, I don't know what thing, let's call it personality. So
mm,
I will hire more on personality than skills. Sometimes skills, make people have an ego and they don't work well with teams. And of course, you need to manage everybody differently. That's one thing that you need to realize, of course. But that's for me,
personality. Yeah.
uh, because then you can train standards, but the bad thing about that is that kills personality.
Yes, you're
So
right. You're
remember what
right.
happened with hotels, right? We're gonna do this type of burger, and this is gonna be the burger that you have in other hotels because you're gonna have that standard. And we were told you need to buy this brand with this amount of beef and fat and this cheese, and it's a great idea. But
Yeah.
what happened? It was an average burger. It wasn't really good. So I had this discussion once with a DP, and I remember telling him, "What about the burger chef? What's wrong about being a burger chef?" And I remember this. It was in Doha before the all these
The
competitions
rise
were
of burgers.
And they're true craftsmen. They're true. If you standardize so much, you kill personality, and that's what happened with restaurants in hotels. They used to be the best, and then independent restaurants took over because they allow. Remember tattoos? Oh, we don't allow tattoos. It's not proper.
Mm.
We couldn't get mixologists to come because
Yeah, yeah,
we are
yeah.
this type of personality, and we're not like you trying to frame us, right? So
Mm.
understanding that kills personality. Then if you let go some standards, you need to be ready to accept people's mistakes. And that's where I was telling you about the mistake culture, that it's okay, you made a mistake, let's own it, let's see where it went.
Let's make it
We do need
authentic.
a standard, or maybe not, maybe it just was human
Yeah.
nature.
Very interesting. Very interesting. I love that you also said you want to protect the personality. So
Exactly,
not
because
really
they
because
own it. Exactly. And if your company harbors and foments work within your team, so they see their work it's getting out there, they're gonna be so much in tune. They're gonna give the extra mile. They're gonna own it. They're gonna feel it. That's when a high performance team comes in.
mm, you're
Everybody's
right.
putting their heart into it, and they believe in it, and they're gonna be the best. This is the best dish. You have to try it.
Mm,
Why? Because you train this server to be, we make a taste for him. We make the wine tasting for him also. And this is why he knows this dish from A to Z. He's the best
yeah.
salesman you have.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. Knowing you and working with you, would you agree that your leadership style is calm and people close to people? Would you agree with that? And if you do agree, how did you reach there?
So I had my share of bad influences. So I had this interesting, colorful career that I started when the old shouting, burn your hands, chef were in the kitchen. Then when we transitioned to being professionals, and then we don't do that anymore, right? And that's why I like hotels better, because
Mm,
at the moment, the independent restaurants they were harsh, they were interesting, and then I saw in hotels, a bigger picture, right? But more professional, more down to earth, where, discipline, you don't need to break people to have discipline. That's, that's one thing. Discipline is, uh, never break your own rules, right? So
mm,
if you ask that to be there, it's not me telling you. This is the standard for our company. You detach the
yeah,
personal side,
yeah.
and then you can be truly black and white and honest with people.
Really powerful. And we're almost in the end, but before we finish, need to touch on guest experience and also that honest feeling that you create, in the venues you work and you build, because you mentioned identity, you mentioned personality. So, what does honest luxury means to you?
So luxury has changed a lot, but what hasn't changed is the experience, right? So all of us want experience, either if we don't want to be, if you want to be let alone, or if you want to experience a rush or something, right? So it's precision, it's being warm, it's consistency. That never
Consistency. Yeah.
changes, right? But the goal is to have an emotional, let's say, gift. So what can you buy? You can't buy emotions. You can, if you're wealthy, and that's where usually luxury is. I'm
Mm,
gonna say usually, because it depends what you think of luxury. But when you get something you cannot buy and you cannot put a price, that's where the luxury really is, right? Because you can expect things, right, from worldly things, but when you feel you're being that craft of the guy. Do you remember what I was saying? When they are there, their soul is
mm.
there. When you come in a mixology, it asks you, what's your preference? You like savory? Do you like acidity? You like citrus? And you interact, and then he builds this cocktail for you. You cannot buy that in
Yes, yes,
Sopro.
you're right. You're
You
right.
got a gift from that person's craft. And I think that's the ultimate interaction and gift from people to people, is that. And that's where luxury it is. You can put that on architecture. Can how do how does that happen? Sometimes architects are really good at doing. If you sit here and then you see the angle and wow, this is great. This is amazing. No, it's built into the ecosystem. This hotel, you cannot see it from the outside because it's blended into the rainforest. So those kind of things, and I think that's where true luxury it is. For example, you're trying a wine for the first time, a really good vintage, expensive, but you don't know what you're tasting. And if you
Yeah,
get a wine a sommelier that's really passionate with the wine and tells you the story behind the family, the enologist, the it's just such a different experience because you bought the bottle, but you got the interaction and the human side from the
the
wine
experience.
specialist, right?
Yeah.
So that's where luxury is.
I agree. It's all about that human connection that is actually creating this luxury experience. And like you said, it depends how do you define luxury? It can mean a lot of things, but for me, I definitely follow the same path. It's all about this experience. The experience actually is the luxury for me. You can go to a five-star hotel in a most craziest outlets and venues, and you have a shitty experience. So
It's
the luxury will be deleted. Like there will be no luxury.
it's so standardized that it's sterilized.
Yeah.
And then you can go to a market and have such a wonderful time.
Yeah. Yes.
And then you bought a craft that was maybe $1, but you got something from someone that did it and it has a history and the
Yes.
family has been doing this. And every time you see that in your office and your home, you're going to go, oh, I remember this time that
Yeah.
$1.
Definitely. Wow. Really inspiring. Do you have any thoughts about, of course, the technology and AI? Is that affecting your line of work anyhow? And if it is, I'm really interested to hear about that.
So I've been always very techy, let's put it that way. Uh, Technology is a big part, and it needs to be when you're running so many outlets and big corporations, right? What does it do for me? It helps me with analytics, with filtering, with decompressing, with making sure my time is spent on quality time,
Hmm.
not much going through report after
Nice.
report after
Nice.
report where there were only two compelling things for me. It makes my team perform better. For example, we have a system that you use for letting us know that your tray is ready to be retrieved.
Hmm.
So that interaction also gives me analytics and I can see by hour, I can see what shift is doing most so I can be more
Wow.
efficient, putting people there. So definitely technology has to be up there.
So really using it for, leveling up the guest experience, like understanding the guest
Exactly.
behaviors and like preferences. And really, I love what you said that you use it to reduce the admin, whatever time, and really have a quality time more with, the guest and the team. Really, really interesting.
Exactly. It takes away the noise.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Gives me the distilled issue or distilled information. I need to be efficient and also remember hospitality. We need to be quick. If we don't react on the go, we're
Yes.
yesterday's
Yeah, yeah,
news.
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Wow, this was very inspiring, Pedro. Really, I have to ask this the question of the show. What does level up means to you?
So level up for me is evolution.
Mm.
And you are your own precursor on that, and once you figure that out and how you can use that every day, and then be fortunate enough to teach it to teams, your family, to better yourself. I think that's the human goal of us being better in this world, and
Yeah.
if we do that by starting with us, that's a great thing to start.
I love that. I love that. Really, I'm so happy from this catch up. It's been ages, 10 years since we met, since we saw each other, but I'm really proud of.
In
Yeah.
touch with you. I've seen your work. I always, you were one of those people that touched my life. I
Thank
remember your
you.
dance move,
Yes,
your rock
I'm still,
star.
still, I
So
cannot change that. That's my identity.
it's great to be blessed like that. I always say I'm been very lucky. I've been extremely lucky to have a lot of people that have shown me and touched my life in a certain way that I'm here and I'm very happy and productive and going forward.
I agree. I agree. I always say that, I owe hospitality industry for the people that I met and the friends that I created. We worked with each other like 10 years ago, but we're still in touch. You are in so different part of this world, but we're still in touch. And this is really something I value. So thank you for your support also to jump in the show.
Thank
Your
you.
value was amazing. The insights was really nice. I'm really excited to release it. I will share your contacts in the description so people want to reach out to you can do. But once again, thank you for your time and all the knowledge.
Thank you. And I keep wishing you, as always, the best, Godspeed, and keep dancing and rocking away.
Thank you, Pedro. Will do. Will do. Thank you. I'll keep following you as well. Have a nice day ahead, and we definitely stay in touch.
Excellent. Beautiful.
Also,
Bye bye.
thank you. Bye.
Every conversation can and will elevate you. It's where real talk meets real growth. After